I'm very well, thank you. Very pleased to be here. I've always been interested in writing ever since I was a small child. I used to write short stories and things like that. And when I was ill health retired from the police, I decided that I wanted to take up writing full time as opposed to hobby. And I had contracted sleep apnea at reasonably about that time. I decided to write a book about it. And hopefully inform people about what sleep apnea is and get published at the same time. I think it was a case of once I started, I couldn't stop. It took a little while for me to get the idea and to work out how I was going to do the story. I knew I wanted to write about sleep apnea, but I didn't know how without making it a textbook. So it took me a couple of weeks to figure that one out and work out what the plot was going to be. But once I started, I was away and couldn't stop myself until it's finished. Not really, no. I think it tended to flow quite well. I was quite pleased with it. And once I'd figured out what I was going to do and how I was going to approach the story and how I was going to make it a love story or a story about love and lust and sex, it was therefore easy to flow with that and follow it through to its conclusion. It's called apnea because an apnea is the medical term for when you can't breathe and you stop breathing in your sleep or in any other circumstance. When I was thinking about writing a book about sleep apnea, I wanted the hook. I wanted to know what to write about. So I made it a love story, a story of someone who's fallen in and out of love and lust. And the term someone taking your breath away is what I thought would be perfect for it. It's an apnea. It's a story about a man who falls in love all the time, falls in lust all the time, loses his breath over various different people, and then eventually is medically diagnosed with sleep apnea and actually does lose his breath. I have a study, and I tend to do most of my work in my study. I've been fortunate enough in every house that I've been living in, I've had a study, so I've been able to write most of my work in there. But on saying that, I've got a surface and will take it anywhere. I've sat in cafes and bars and restaurants. Written in Egypt, Cyprus, all over the place. Any chance I get, I'll just sit down and write. Very special. It's very difficult to describe. It was a proud feeling to actually have something with my name on it and see it on the bookshelf and think I wrote that. It's something that I created, so it was fantastic. To walk into a bookshop and see it is even better. But it's a very proud feeling to actually see a book with your name on it. I wanted to tell a story of what sleep apnea was. I wanted to get across the message. When I was diagnosed with sleep apnea, I didn't know what it was. I did the normal thing of Googling it and finding out what everything was and how dangerous it was and things like that. And I wanted people to know about what sleep apnea was. And as far as I was aware, there was no story that had a main character in it that had sleep apnea. So I thought, I'll write one. I shall create a story about sleep apnea that tells people what sleep apnea is, but does it in an amusing, hopefully entertaining way. And they'll come away having enjoyed the book, but also learnt what sleep apnea is. Don't give up. Keep writing. Don't write with the intention of being published. Write with the intention of enjoying yourself. You don't have to write every day. People tell you have to write every day. Write when you want to. Make it fun. Enjoy yourself. Get out there, and most important of all, perhaps read. Read as much as you can. Read different things. Read out of your comfort zone. If you want to learn how to write, you've got to learn how to read. I have plans for a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and so on. My second book is actually with the submissions team of Olympia now. They're looking at that and deciding whether or not they're going to take that on and review that. I've got probably in total about 5 or so other books that I've completed and written over the years that are near enough ready to go and will be submitted over the course of a few years. I just won't give up. I'll keep submitting, and hopefully someone will pick them up and decide that they want to publish them. I think it's been good. I've had a lot of support. I tend to do most of my communication via email. I've always had responses to emails that I've sent. If there's been a problem and I've emailed about it, it's been answered and dealt with quickly, and that goes all the way through from the submissions team to the editing team, all the way through to yourselves in the publicity side of things. So it's pretty good, I think, and everything's been set up for me perfectly. So I haven't really got any complaints about Olympia at all.